Hey, welcome everybody. I am on a laptop without a mouse today, and it's a little stressful. We're going to talk about stress today. We are indeed. So I'm going to do my best not to miss comments, but scrolling up and down in the comments is going to be extremely difficult. What is the hype? Like, I am in my very, very unfinished office in the store because we are doing a whatnot sale from the store today at 3 p.m. We're doing that every week now at 3 p.m. We are shopping the shelves of the good stuff thrift store. And today I actually have some special surprises. We've been processing in some stuff. So I have some carts of things that haven't even been tagged yet that you guys are going to get to shop from if you come over to Whatnot at 3 p.m. I'm wearing gingerbreads. I'm wearing gingerbread guys today. You know, I've got all these cute little Christmas clothes. I've got to represent. I see a Sunny Las Vegas in the house. Ooh, Sunny and I see a Mikey Bags of Money. Sunny and Mikey are in trouble. They're in trouble. That will show up on a future episode of why they're in trouble, but make no mistake, those boys are in trouble. I know, right, Tiffany? Stress. What's stress? Well, I thought it was a really, really good topic because I think we all feel it. We all go through it. And this time of year, for some reason, it just becomes even overwhelming for a lot of people. Statistically, it is one of the highest seasons of the year for suicides because people just get overwhelmed. And you topple that with some kind of seasonal things, with some kind of natural depressions that we go through when the sun is out less, and it's just a recipe for disaster. So we're going to talk about it. They were naughty. They were naughty. Both of them. I don't know if it was equal. One could be a little bit more of a culprit than the other. I'm just saying. Oh, yes. Actually, Sunny, are you coming down today with those keys? Because we need them by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, mister. Oh, my goodness. So let's talk about it. So I'm going to just disclaimer this right here. And those around me know this to be true. I am not immune from stress. I am not immune from freaking out sometimes. My children would tell you that. But it's something that I really actively work on, especially as I'm getting older. And stress, you guys, it's a killer. It is a legitimate killer. It will destroy your immune system. It will cause you heart problems. It will cause you digestive problems. You do not want stress in your life. It's just bad. So the only way to, oh, you were waiting on a call yesterday. Was I supposed to call you yet? I'm really bad at that too. We were down here working. The only way to prevent stress from having those effects on you is to do some things to deal with stress. There's no way to eliminate stress. Let's just take that off the table. Stress is going to happen. So let's look at what is stress. What is it? So some people are very easygoing and can just, as things change, they can go with the flow, and they have a lot more ability to be flexible with things. Carrie's one of those people. She is amazing with just going with whatever gets thrown at us in the day. And although I do see her show little signs of stress sometimes, but for the most part, Carrie is one of those people. I think Mikey is one of those people too, who kind of can just go with it, roll with it. But then there are those of us who are a little more, we need our things we can count on. We need our routines. We need to trust what the universe is throwing at us. And when things happen that are off of that, then we get stressed, because really stress is about control. Think about it. When do we feel the most stress? When things get out of our control. So holiday season, we've got all of our normal everyday life happening. And then there's this added pressure. Now, all of a sudden, we've got company coming, and we're worried about, is the house going to be cleaned up? Are our decorations going to be up? The kids are going to be home from school now. What am I going to do with them while all of this is happening? And so we've got all this added pressure we put on ourselves. And then there's, if you're alone during the season. Now, I get this one. You see, especially with social media, you see all of these people doing family things and family photos, and taking the kids or the grandkids to go see Santa, and then that starts weighing on you. And so some of that's a pressure in and of itself, is that you are brought into the reality of you don't have certain situations that you really, really want. And it makes you sad, and sadness can cause stress. So we all have those different things. Yeah. I mean, I am tickled pink that Jordan and her boyfriend are coming out to spend Christmas with me. Don't get me wrong. I adore my children. Noah and Rachel are the best. But, as an adult, you kind of yearn for some adult company, somebody who shares in the cooking and in the cleaning up and in the just going and doing fun things and all of that. So I do have my kids, but I don't have a lot of extended family. So, and Jordan is coming out for the very first time to spend Christmas since, gosh, I don't even know when the last time we spent Christmas together was. I don't know. I can't tell you. It's been that long. So it's a very exciting year for us here. But I know, and a lot of you live like thousands of miles away from your family, and then that's a stress. Okay, so we know what stress is. We know stress is added pressure. It's pressure. And if you think of it as layers, it's layers, and it weighs, like sometimes you can physically feel that pressure sitting on your shoulders from stress. And so you have to be able to take layers off. You have to do it. That's how you're going to relieve yourself of that pressure. So how do you do that? I mean, everybody is different in what is effective and what works for them. So for me, it is it's getting things off my plate. It is being able to delegate things to those around me that I trust to just get the job done. And I think too often we feel the need to kind of control freak a little bit, because nobody's going to do it as good as us. Who's guilty of that? Nobody is going to make that ham dinner as good as you. Nobody is going to clean the house as good as you. Nobody's going to put up the tree as good as you. Where's my guilty people? Come on now. I know you're out there. We're all out there. We're all out there. So, and that is a thing where, and I'm learning this more and more, nobody cares about perfect. You care about perfect. Those around you don't see what you see. They don't see the imperfection. Opening this store has been a really good example of that for me, because I wanted everything to be perfect on opening day. And had I waited for everything to be perfect on opening day, we would still be waiting to open. I do have new glasses. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, so we have to lose this idea of perfection. I mean, and we have to look back and see, where does that come from? Because there's always layers beneath the layers. Where does that need for perfection come from? Not you at all, Sunny, maybe. It comes from different places in our life, messages that we were told, things we grew up with, things where we were should on. You should do this and you should do that, and it should be this way or it should be that way. And we take that all in, and at the end of the day, there are no shoulds. There really aren't. There are, wouldn't it be nice if? And maybe just changing that language, doing that one little thing instead of I should, wouldn't it be nice if? And if you can make it happen, great. But if you can't make it happen, then it is what it is. And you don't let that define your peace, because we throw away our peace for all of these pressures and all of these things we think should happen and we think we need to be a certain way. Or, so for me, I will be completely transparent. I really, really still worry about what other people think of me. I don't want anybody to ever think that I am unkind or selfish or egotistical or arrogant. Like, those are all like big triggers for me. So I work really, really hard not to put out any of those things, because that's not who I want to be. And sometimes it happens and I get called those things and I'm like, wow, where did that come from? Where did that? And then I'm like, then I go into like problem solving mode. Like, why did somebody think that of me? And, but that, and I think a lot of it has to do with growing up. Number one, I had an older brother who was very, very good at getting me to take the blame for anything that happened. Like, I was always the bad guy. I was always the bad guy. I always took the heat for things that weren't even mine. We had a babysitter once who beat me because she, I don't even remember what the incident. We had done something, and gosh, isn't it funny how memories hit you? We were in the back of her pickup truck, whole bunch of kids in the back of her pickup truck. This is a babysitter, like back in the day. And somebody spilled something in the back of her truck. And my brother said I had done it. And when she asked me, we got back, and she asked me, did you do that? And I said, no. And she says, you're lying. And she beat me. She beat me until I was bruised. And so that, I'm almost 56 years old, and that memory is so ingrained in my head to the point where I can literally feel how mortified I was in that moment where I was telling the truth and somebody didn't believe me. And so I've carried that, and we all carry those things. We all have those moments in our past that have defined how we handle situations and how we think of things. So one of the keys to relieving some of those pressure points is to just even realize where some of this stuff comes from, and like letting it go and realizing that whoever that was in your life that did that thing to you was wrong. They were wrong. That's on them. Because we carry around so much of this crap, like shame and guilt and feeling not good enough and all of this stuff. It's like the human condition now, where we're most people, it's not everybody, most people are none of those things, that they carry. I think the people that truly are like bad and evil and egotistical and selfish and all those things never even think about it. They just live it. They just do it. So this discussion is not even for them, because, they got to come to a place where they're even willing to accept that. But most of us are just carrying this stuff around, which then makes us stressed because we want the house to be perfect. We want the Christmas tree to be perfect. We want the car to be clean. We want the kids to be happy. We want all these things because we're afraid. Because we're afraid if those things don't happen, somehow we're a lesser human being, or they're not going to love us, or they're not going to like us, or they're not going to want to come back next year, or you fill in the blanks of what that thing is for you. But that's stress. That's the stress. And, financial is a big one right now, and people are afraid, like what's going to happen. And being somebody who works with people that are in the reselling world where our income is not guaranteed and it all relies on sales, and there's a lot of fear and a lot of stress. So another point of stress is worry about what hasn't even happened yet. So you're worried about, I'm not going to make enough money to pay this bill next month, but it hasn't happened yet. So again, it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift from the worry of what if this happens into what can I do to improve my chances of this happening, or this outcome being what I want it to be. And then you can really manifest that. I get told all the time, like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you make this all happen. And because it's literally in my mind, I see it happening instead of, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to happen. I can't, make this work. It's, how do I make this work? How can I, and I don't always get it right, but for me, it's just like, we got to figure it out. We got to solve the problem. We just got to figure out, how do we make this work? Because I know in my brain, I see it working. Now it's just like, how do we get there? And that's the, who was with me on my Saturday night whatnot? Who was there and saw the debacle that happened? Because I know this is a fear. Where I see you guys talking about fear over there now in the chat. Fear is very stressful. Fear again is that stuff that hasn't even happened, that we just think could happen. So we stop ourselves from doing anything. Yeah, Teresa, Chelsea, Lanny. So what happened was I went to stream from my computer because I never can. I just was testing it to see if by some chance I'd be able to stream from the computer. And lo and behold, it worked. And I was like, whoa, okay. But then I was like all zoomed in and stuff, and it was really horrible. And so I decided to go back to my phone, also because I was doing buyer's choice lots, and it's just easy to pick up the phone and show it over the stuff. And I couldn't stream from my phone. Now I was a little stressed. I was a little, like, I never want to come across as like, I got this all figured out and I'm perfect. It's always a work in progress. That's the other thing. Be kind to yourself. It's always a work in progress. So plan B was whip that webcam off and hold the webcam over, and it had a really short cord, and it was like, but we just got through it. We just, and Rachel came in and helped, but you just do what you got to do. And I know so many people who would have ended their show at that point. They would have just said, nope, not doing it. And I would tell you that I sold $900 worth of stuff that night in a really horrible technology situation, because it didn't let it stop me. Don't let things stop you, because that can then cause your stress. Financial too. I mean, that's what we're kind of talking about, is there are things right now in this season where it's getting a little tough and it's getting a little tight that you can do to push past it. But some of those require you to do things outside of your comfort zone. You got to get outside of that comfort zone. Do you know who's in comfort zones? Failed business owners. People not getting the sales they need out on the platforms that they sell on. Those are people trying to stay in their comfort zones. If you identify, the solution there is push outside. See what other successful people are doing. Don't commiserate with those who are in the same situation. They're not going to have the answers for you. Get yourself surrounded by people who are where you want to be. You want to go where their success is. Get around that energy. It will really lift you up, boost you up. You're dreading packing and shipping right now. We finally got Matt back today. We are so happy to have Matt back. He still feels pretty crappy, but he's back today and on the mend. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat a little bit. Again, I don't have a mouse, so I can't scroll. So it is hard to step out of our comfort zone. If it was easy, there would be no one who was set apart, right? If everybody was just doing everything they dreamed of and everything they could do, it would make it really hard to stand out. So the fact that it is hard to step out of your comfort zone is a good thing. It's a good thing. It will help make you more successful. Your anxiety is so out of control, you can't drive your car. Chelsea, then you know what you need to do? You need to get in that car and drive a short distance. You know, you've got to overcome that fear, because the way the brain works, okay, like this is a brain. Here's your brain. Here's your brain. Although this is a really smooth brain. You don't want a smooth brain. So your brain has all of these channels. It has all of these little connections going, and it's constantly forming paths. And the paths are either deeper or shallower based on how we reinforce behaviors. So when you are afraid, so you've got the little digger here in your brain, you're afraid, and that little digger's going, oh, she's afraid. Okay, let's make this one deeper, deeper, deeper. If you fight past that fear, if you go do that thing that you fear the most, that little digger loses their shovel power, okay? And it makes a new channel. It makes the problem-solving channel. It makes the I can do this and overcome this channel. And if you feed that one, it is a stronger, easier channel to follow than now the shallow fear one. Fear one doesn't go away. It just becomes not the default for your brain to go to. So you have to fight against that fear. Many don't know, I was agoraphobic. I would not leave my house. I had my nice little farm. I raised my horses and my goats, and I didn't go do anything unless it was something that I absolutely knew where I was going, what to expect, and I never went alone. I never went anywhere alone. So I get it. And this is where I learned all this brain stuff, because I hated it too. I was missing out. When eBay was doing their eBay lives, the big, conventions they used to do, I could not bring myself to go. And I was a bona fide eBay girl. I mean, I was diehard. My house was decorated in red, yellow, blue, green. I mean, but I could not get myself to go and be in that situation. And it killed me. It's the biggest regret that I have, because there's just so many people I didn't get to meet back then when that was all happening. And so there was really some big life-changing kick in the pants moments for me that I had to learn to overcome this. And one, for those that don't know my story, I lost custody of Jordan when she was 11 years old. And then my husband at the time insisted on moving us to another state. So the only way I could see my daughter was to either drive or get on a plane and get back over to California, where she was. And so that's where I just started learning to work through. And I will tell you, the first times that I flew, I had to take something for the anxiety. The anxiety was so ridiculous that I just thought I was going to die. But the mother drive in me to get to my baby was stronger than that. And so I started out, I got Xanax. You're going to claim credit for part of these brain explanations. Girlfriend, I studied this stuff like long before you could read, because I got a lifetime of experience in this. But it's all good. You're probably learning the same stuff. But I had to take Xanax to get on that plane. And then I realized The Xanax was wiping me out. Then I get to my destination and I was so tired. I didn't feel like I could function. So I weaned myself off of it, and I learned to just sit in that seat. For me, I had to pray. I had to pray because I also put this little mantra in my head that faith and fear cannot exist together, and you have to pick one. So I was like, faith over fear, faith over fear, faith over fear. I learned about the airplane and how it functioned in the sky and how it stayed in the air and the training that goes behind pilots. I filled my brain with all this knowledge that made me more comfortable. Am I still a squeamish flyer? I am. I'm not completely over it, but you know what? I have flown to Florida. I have flown to Pennsylvania. I have flown to Chicago. I have flown literally all over this country by myself now because I conquered that fear, but I did it by taking a 1-hour flight from Arizona to California. I never, ever could have taken a 4-hour flight as like my first launch into getting past this stuff. It had to be done in baby steps. And I think so often we just want an instant fix, and you guys are so hard on yourselves, and you got to stop that. Be kind to you. We beat ourselves up worse than anybody could ever do. I know it. And I see it every single day. Like nobody else is telling us the stuff we're telling ourselves. I mean, I get it. There are some people who have, rotten people in your life, but you know what I'm saying. So in order to get over this stuff, you also have to love yourself first. And that's not selfish. And see, that's my selfish thing. And I was always taught, if you think about yourself first, you're selfish. You're selfish. You're only thinking about yourself. I didn't say only thinking about yourself, but I said, you've got to think about yourself first. You've got to, or there's nothing for you to give to anyone else. And we don't do that. We don't do it. Let me catch up over here on the chat just a little bit. Yeah, loving ourselves can be an extremely difficult thing, especially if we did not feel loved as a child. That carries through with the message of you're unlovable. So many of us carry that. You're just unlovable. And we go through life trying to prove that we're lovable and that we're worthy for somebody to care about us. And that's an endless struggle until you decide to look in the mirror and say, I love you. Like, how many of you can do that? How many of you can go to your mirror right now, look yourself right in the eyes and say, I love you. I think you're pretty darn cool. Without a but, without throwing a but in there. Like but I wish you would get better at, but I wish you had more, but I wish your nose was smaller. All those things. I should have Jordan on for this too. Yes. Also, being chronically overcommitted and always needing to be productive can be a form of self-harm. Yeah. I've really had to work on calling it quits at a certain point in the day and just allowing myself to just veg out and do nothing. I used to feel guilty for having games on my computer. So ironically, the game that I play is Zen Match. Who plays Zen Match? They give a little affirmation each day too when you log on. I give myself permission to go after what I want. Hey, there we go. So this is my little guilty pleasure. Anybody else play this? So it's literally like you just match tiles, and I just sit there and I play this and I don't feel guilty. because it's fun and I like it. Whereas I used to feel guilty if I did that. I used to feel super guilty. Is this an ad? Are you sponsored? No. You crazy girl. Mom guilt. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I know. So, does this relate? I have 2 kids. They do horseback riding and go-kart racing, and they want to play pool with me, and they want to go in the pool with me in the summer, and they want to go do things. And I get so caught up in all of the things I need to do for my business that I put that time last. And I say, if there's time, instead of making it like, well, this has to happen first over doing the whatnot sale, over, cleaning up the items for the live sale, all of that. And I'm really working on that because I know the messages that they're getting right now are going to carry into their adult lives. And I'm responsible for that. And so, like you're saying, the mom guilt for that is like, whoo, I always feel like I can be doing better as a mom. Always feel it. And sometimes I crack under pressure. Poor Noah, it's something like Noah doesn't exhibit stress the same way I do. I tend to be a freak out stressor. Like something will go wrong and I just go into like a little bit of a panic mode. He's like, Mom, calm down. I can fix this. But I know he stresses too about stuff. I see his little stuff. His is like very quiet and internal. Never thought about overcommitting being self-harm. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So something I learned long time ago is that so many of us have trouble just being. We are human doings. We are not human beings, because to sit and be can be very scary. It can be very uncomfortable. If you don't love yourself, then you're sitting there spending time with somebody you don't love, and you don't want to do that, and you don't want to think about it. So you fill your time with so much stuff so that you don't have to be in that realm. So again, it all goes back to that. Without feeling selfish, being a little selfish, being a little self-preserving in everything. Like, find that thing that you love. What is it? Everybody's got something different. What is it? Is it gardening? Is it flower arranging? Is it decorating? Is it, and we're talking things that don't make money necessarily. You've got to have like just an outlet, just something that is your little guilty pleasure of something that you do. You're here. Oh, Sunny, well, you can't tell me. You've got to text Rebecca. I'm in my office. I can't go unlock the door for you, my friend. You should do a Learning to Love Yourself series, Jordan. You absolutely should. It's tough. It's tough. So things are generational in families too. I come from a long line of dysfunction, a long line of it. I remember my grandmother always walking around kind of, like that, that little worried hand stuff, we see people do. She was always picking her face. She's always picking her face. She was a living, breathing anxiety mess. She had an abusive husband, and I didn't know what that was as a child. But now looking back, I can clearly see how all of that manifested. And, in holidays, everybody gathered at her house, and she had this extensive, dinner for everyone, and she never ate. She didn't eat because she couldn't, because everything made her sick, because she had carried all of her anxiety through her life so much that she could not digest food. Everything made her sick. So she would wait until everybody left because she didn't want to be embarrassed, eating and then being in the bathroom, getting sick, and it's so sad to think about that now, that everybody loved her. We didn't see that piece of her. We didn't care. Like, we wouldn't have cared if, something had gone wrong with the meal, or, whatever it was she was stressed about. We wouldn't have cared. We were there because we just wanted to spend time with her. But she didn't see it that way. So, and then that passed down. And then I know I watched my mother spend her life trying to be good enough. And then I've spent my life trying to be good enough. And finally, I was like the first identified, dysfunctional patient here that started to seek help, like not to carry on this structure, because it was just not a good way to live. And so I was like the one to start the cycle. And then my oldest daughter, which you guys have never met, she didn't want anything to do with my social life, but she was the next one to start going on that path. And then there's Jordan, who's taken it even further. And Jordan, do you have your degree now? Your psychology? Jordan's actually like learning like psychology from the textbook standpoint too, and learning to coach and help other people with that. And so, finally, hopefully by the time we get to Jordan's children, we'll have some health in this family. But it takes many, many generations to undo like cycles of some bad stuff. So you just got your AA for now. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've turned mine into Crohn's. So I went straight past the IBS right into Crohn's. And I think that was another wake-up call, is like, I did not want to end up like my grandmother. She ended up with colon cancer and all kinds of problems. And so I started not just on the mental health aspect of things, but on the physical health aspect of things, and building my immune system. Because everybody's like, oh, you're so skinny. Well, that's because I don't really absorb food. So I have to take a lot of like liquid supplementation that will absorb into my system. And I have to stay on top of that. And yeah. So it's not this stress thing it's not just a mental health thing. It's a physical health thing. So many ailments stem from this constant level of cortisol that we keep our bodies in. We go back to the very basic flight or fight, and most of us are flighters. We're in that state of like, I got to get ready to run. I got to get ready to run. As opposed to the bear don't care. The bear's going to like whatever, bring it. But we're the deer. You're going, I got to get out of here. Got to get out of here. And that that cortisol stays raised, and it causes inflammation in our body, and the inflammation in our body causes all kinds of problems. I don't talk to my oldest very often. Yeah, she's living her own life. She's living her own life. That's a long story. And honestly, I'll come right out here and publicly say, I had her at 17, and I was a horrible mother to her. I was horrible. I didn't know how to be a mom. So she carries a lot of anger about that. And I have been accountable and tried to make my amends, but sometimes it just, there's nothing you can do. And that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, I hear a lot of my friends out there have worn their bodies out with all of the stress. But the thing is, you guys, it doesn't have to continue. You can help heal yourself by just learning little things. Now, I know some of you are stressed out with the amount of things stressing you out and saying that like there's no way. And that's why I was saying it's layers. It's layers that you have to peel off one at a time. Little things. It's the little things, guys. It's little things make a big difference. And so often we feel like it's all or nothing. We feel like if I don't do this big, massive, get it all done thing, it's not going to matter. And that's not the case. It's not the case. Start with little things. Even if someone does something bad, it's the best they can do at that time. Not the best, but their best. And it's not always good enough. Oops, that just scrolled away and I couldn't finish reading it. Hold on. Stand by. Let me see if I can make this scrolly laptop thing. Oh gosh, that just scrolled too fast. I missed it. But you guys can read the chat. You get the gist of it. Stress by not enough money, family, and my health. So let's look at that. Let's look at this not enough money thing. Okay, this is going to be touchy, and this is not judgmental, guys. There is no judgment here. This is simply a self-reflection time. So I've been poor. Like, macaroni and cheese was my best friend when I was first raising my kids alone. And I can still go back and look at that time. And even though I was struggling, there were things that I still did that I could have done without. There were still things I bought that I could have done without and put that money away and saved and done other things. So, and we all do this. We all have those things that we spend money on that we probably know, we shouldn't, or we, you know what I'm saying? So we really have to look at what are we spending our money on? What are we spending our money on? I got to a place of just save, frugal, to the point where I had enough. I was saving money to buy a house. I was really trying to get a down payment for a house put away. And then this came about. And so my house money has been put into opening this business. But not one loan did I take to open this business. I did not get a partner. I owe nobody anything for putting this together, which feels phenomenal. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is like, you can make things happen, but sometimes you have to sacrifice other things. And we don't like to do that. Nobody likes to do that. We don't want to do that. Instead of the fast food, you scramble and just, cook some pasta, and save a little money. You guys know the juice box, paid for it with cash that I socked away so that I didn't have a car payment, because car payments are stressful. And again, you guys, like, I don't want to shut anybody down by you feeling guilt or you feeling like I'm judging. I'm not. I'm simply giving you my perspective of how I was able to get from macaroni and cheese 5 nights a week to opening my own business and not having any debt. And doing it on reselling. I did this being a reseller because it is the only thing I knew. I never went, I didn't even finish high school, guys. I actually did go get my high school diploma. Like, I finished as an adult later, but traditionally speaking, I didn't get a high school diploma. I have gone through so many jobs in my life, and I don't work well for others because I always want to fix broken systems, and nobody really wants to hear that in the corporate world. They want you to just do the job, and I'm not a just do the job kind of person. But so eBay came along, and it was a dream for me. That it was something that I knew I could do and be successful at, because I was already buying and selling stuff locally, and then just taking that to the next level to now being able to open this store with the purpose of supporting other resellers. Like, that is my dream. It's this chain. Like, I know how to get the goods in so that I can pass them on to all of you guys and still pay the bills. So, and I'm still doing my own reselling business, but I'm not taking things out of the store. That's why I'm shopping the Goodwills and stuff, but I'm not cherry picking this store. The stuff is here for you guys. I'm going to have to go back and read this chat after the fact. We put whatever money is left at the end of the month into a savings account and it adds up quickly. Yes. I also pay a little extra on utilities each month, so I have a padding for later. Very, very smart, Lanny. Very, very smart. That's it. Sometimes we feel like, we get this money. Oh, but wait, I have like $10 left. I can go get a Starbucks. When in fact, if you socked that $10 away, every time you had that little extra $10, it would add up. It absolutely would add up. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading chat and I'm not sure I should read it out loud. So you guys are sharing some really personal stuff and I appreciate that. I mean, and yeah, we all have our stuff. We all have stuff. And I think one of the other things is not letting that stuff turn you bitter. I find, this is me personally, I hope it works for you. I find that by using my time and talents to help others, it fulfills things within my own life. And it helps me love that person in the mirror. It helps me undo those messages that said you're selfish and you don't deserve better and all of that I lived with for. I mean, I married somebody who gave me that message every day too. That's the other problem is, we seek to reinforce that, which is crazy, but that's what happens too. We seek to reinforce the messages we think are true. And then we just, give ourselves more stuff to undo. It was definitely a different time when I had my first daughter. Yep. I don't know. I thought I was a great mom back then, but like I can look back and go, oh no. Yeah. Perfection does not exist. It really doesn't. It doesn't exist. Good enough exists. And that's it. You look at your business and look at the things you do and look at the reasons you're putting up more listings, or like you're worrying about it being perfect. You want the perfect pictures and you want the perfect title and you want the perfect description, and all of that perfection is costing you money because you're not putting the items up for sale. And I can guarantee you, if you're not putting them up for sale, they're not selling. Pure and simple. That's how it works. If you want to sell stuff, you actually have to list it. So stop with the perfection, everybody. Let's stop with the perfection. My Facebook friends are watching this as well, and I can see their comments. Barb is asking, do you ever suffer from negative self-dialogue? Oh, goodness, yes. Like I have to fight that. I will honestly tell you, in the last couple months of getting this store going, there was a lot of times where I would go home literally almost in tears thinking, what have you done? What have you done? Oh my gosh, you made the biggest mistake. What made you think that you could accomplish this? Yes, I have to fight those voices, and sometimes literally out loud. Sometimes I will literally speak it out loud and say, shut up. I can do this and I will do this. So don't be afraid to do that. Like, tell those voices verbally, audibly, be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. They're liars. Oh, Brenda, I'm so glad you're listing and selling again. Yay! The world we live in is negative, so we have to constantly work on positive reinforcements. Yeah, feed your brain's positivity. Stay away from the news. I know. All of it. Stay away. It's all. I will be honest with you guys. I see this. If I do a title to one of my videos that has something dramatic, might have happened, It gets way more views than, oh, today was a lovely day. You know, we feed on dramatic negative stuff. And so I don't clickbait, you guys. I do not clickbait. If I use a title, it is because something happened directly involving that title. Because stuff happened, like I got slapped at Goodwill. I did get slapped at Goodwill. But we tend to seek out negative stuff. It's almost like it's human nature to like veer towards that, almost like we want to see like other bad stuff happening so we can feel a little bit better about our own world. You know what I'm saying? But if, again, I study successful people, I study people who are at least appearing to live the dream. And I have met many of them in person, so I know it's true too. Like I don't just believe what I see on the outsides. I don't just believe because they go up on a stage and they speak. I dig a little deeper. I want to know like what's behind the scenes, because I know some that are not living pretty happy lives and all that. But those that I have followed very closely, become friends with stuff, they truly are practicing what they preach, and they're living that positivity. And so I see from that example that it does work. And you surround yourself with those kind of people, and you keep that kind of stuff going through your social media feeds, and stay away from the doom and gloom. You know, I will tell you, there are some YouTubers out there that do have good information, but it gets presented in a way that is just very kind of downer. And I can't watch it. I can't do it, because it's like, it's no good, because then it just makes you feel like it's hopeless. And hopeless is a very bad spot. I just want to end with this too. Again, you guys, I'm all over social media. And if anybody is ever to that point where you feel you have just lost all hope, you've got nowhere to turn, and you see only one way out, and you know what I'm talking about, reach out. If not to me, to somebody, reach out to somebody. Don't let that message that there is nothing worth living for left ever overcome you. Because I've been to that place before in my life too. So I understand the deep chasm that it is. And it goes back to that. You must force yourself to get out of that little ditch digger that's going down the negative channel and making it deeper and deeper and deeper, and just get him flipped over into digging a new path that has a better outcome. So it's very, very possible. It's extremely possible to flip from hopeless, worried, anxiety, depressed, whatever word you want to put in there, to living an extremely fulfilling, happy life. It is very, very possible. And you have all the power. That's the beautiful thing. Nobody else can give it to you. It is all right here. It's all within you. We all have it. It's just, you've got to feed it. You've got to let it know it can come out and be the way it is. That is it. God is in the restoring business. That is for sure, Kelly. Absolutely 100% believe that. And I know sometimes there are situations that happen that we just don't understand. Why? Why did that have to happen to me? And then again, we let those negative messages in to tell us, well, you know what? You deserved it. You know, there must be something wrong with you. You must be an awful person. And that's why you're just getting punished. And I assure you that is not the case. Sometimes things just happen, and we have to take those things and find the good that can come from them. And for me, if you go back, I've done 2 videos telling my story and the place that I was in my life and where I came out of. And I look at it as a huge blessing that I can now take that life experience and use it to help other people get out of that same place in their lives. And I wouldn't have that compassion and understanding had I not gone through it myself. So I can turn that really ugly thing into something beautiful. And every bad situation that can happen, it can happen. So, and I am so thankful for each and every one of you that comes here and watches my videos every day, because you've made it possible for me to be able to be even a bigger voice and help more people. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. And I just want to, before we wrap up, tell you that something very special is happening today. Something I'm a little stressed about. It's an excited stress though. I'm anxious to see how all of you react to it. So on my list of things I've done in my life, I can now list that I am an executive producer, and I am in a project of producing a kind of a reality TV kind of a thing, but it's right here on my channel. So the good stuff premiere episode is tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we're going to take you through the whole behind the scenes of running a thrift store. So I know Mondays are not my normal night to release a video, but it's happening. As of tonight, on Mondays, you will get to see episodes of the good stuff, is what we're calling it. And I'm pretty excited. All your favorite characters will be in it as well. And yeah, so Whatnot at 3 p.m., shop in the shelves, and then 5 p.m. will be the good stuff. So thank you so much, everyone. I know we have been, yeah, Jordan's not in it yet because she has to get out here to get, some of the video filmed. So I know some of you have emailed, and we're a little behind because Matt was out for a week and Carrie has been scrambling to get all the shipping done. And again, stressful moments, right? But what do? We just make it work, and we prioritized, well, we'll get to emails. We will get back to those emails, but we've got to get the shipping out first. And so we got that done. Matt was back to work now. But so with that, everyone, we'll see you hopefully at 3 o'clock and then at 5 o'clock. And with that, you go be profitable and make it fun. We'll see you on the next one. If I can, push all the buttons.